The black figure kylix decorated with the fight of Hercules with the Nemean lion is a beautiful example of ancient Greek art. This particular piece of pottery is believed to have been created in the early 5th century BC during the Archaic period. The kylix itself is a shallow, two-handled cup that was commonly used for drinking wine during symposia in ancient Greece. The scene depicted on this kylix shows Hercules, the Greek hero and demigod, in the midst of his famous battle with the Nemean lion. The details of the scene are intricately rendered, with both Hercules and the lion shown in dynamic, contorted poses that convey a sense of intense struggle. The lion's fur is rendered in a series of black lines that suggest the texture of the beast's fur, while Hercules is depicted with exaggerated muscles that emphasize his strength and power. The black figure technique used to decorate the kylix allows for a high level of detail and nuance, which is evident in the careful rendering of the lion's claws and teeth, as well as in the subtle variations in shading and line thickness that give the scene depth and dimensionality. The ancient Greeks enjoyed drinking wine during social gatherings, and one of the most popular social events for men was the symposium. The word symposium literally means drinking together, and the event was a place for men to relax, converse, and enjoy music and other entertainment while drinking wine. During a symposium, participants would recline on couches, and the wine would be served in large vessels like this kylix. The kylix would be passed around, and each participant would take a turn drinking from it, often sharing the wine with other guests. The kylix was typically held by the foot, and the drinker would tilt it so that the wine flowed from the bowl into their mouth. This was often accompanied by lively conversation and discussion of various topics, ranging from politics and philosophy to poetry and music. The kylix played an important role in symposium not only as a functional drinking vessel, but also as a decorative object that served as a focal point of conversation and admiration. The scenes depicted on the kylix, like the Hercules and the Nemean lion scene, would have been discussed and appreciated for their artistic and narrative qualities. They are often used as a way to spark conversation and appreciation for art and culture, and would have added to the overall aesthetic and intellectual enjoyment of the symposium. From an economic perspective, the production and trade of pottery were important industries in ancient Greece, particularly during the Archaic period, when Greek city-states were expanding their trade networks and engaging in regional and international commerce. Pottery production was a labor-intensive process that required skilled artisans, specialized equipment, and access to natural resources such as clay and water. The export of pottery, including drinking vessels like kylixes, helped to generate revenue and facilitate cultural exchange and interaction. The Brigos red figure wine cup is an ancient Greek pottery vessel that dates back to the late 5th century BCE. The cup is named after its creator, the Athenian potter Brigos, and is regarded as one of the finest examples of red figure pottery from the time. The cup is decorated with a scene that depicts a symposium or drinking party with several figures gathered around a couch, including a man who appears to be vomiting into a bowl and a young flute girl who is offering him assistance. The scene is rendered in a highly realistic and detailed manner with intricate lines and shading that give the figures a sense of depth and dimensionality. The scene depicted on the cup is thought to reflect the social and cultural practices of the time, with symposia being a common form of entertainment for wealthy and powerful individuals in ancient Greece. The inclusion of the vomiting man and the flute girl has been interpreted as a commentary on the excesses and debauchery associated with such gatherings, as well as a nod to the role of women in the entertainment and service industries of the time. The Brigos cup is attributed to a particular artist, while the Hercules kylix is currently of unknown origin. This makes the Brigos cup a more individual and specific work, whereas the kylix depicting Hercules represents the general style and techniques of the period. The red figure Dionysus cup with large eyes is a notable example of ancient Greek pottery from the 6th century BCE. The cup, attributed to the celebrated Athenian vase painter Exekias, features a depiction of Dionysus, the Greek god of wine and revelry, on a boat surrounded by dolphins and grapes. The large eyes on the cup are a stylistic feature that is characteristic of Exekias's work and are thought to have been intended to convey a sense of intensity and energy to the scene. The depiction of Dionysus on a boat surrounded by dolphins and grapes is a common motif in ancient Greek art and is thought to symbolize the god's role as the patron of wine, fertility, and the sea. The dolphins in particular were often associated with the god's maritime aspects, while the grapes were a symbol of his connection to wine and revelry. The Hercules Kylix features a more stylized and graphic depiction of the scene, with bold, black lines and limited use of color, whereas this Dionysus cup is more realistic and detailed, with a greater emphasis on naturalistic forms and shading. Some final words on the decoration of this Kylix. First and foremost, the depiction of the mythological scene of Hercules fighting the Nemean lion would have been a source of entertainment and intellectual stimulation for the cup's users. The image on the cup would have encouraged conversation and discussion among those drinking from it, and it would have served as a symbol of the culture and values of ancient Greece. Secondly, the depiction of the mythological scene on the cup would have helped to establish the status and identity of the cup's owner. Owning and using a finely crafted black figure Kylix with a scene of Hercules fighting the Nemean lion would have been a sign of wealth, education, and cultural sophistication, and it would have been a way for the owner to demonstrate their social status and influence. Finally, the decorative style of the black figure Kylix also adds to its aesthetic appeal and artistic value. The intricate designs and skillful execution of the figures and patterns on the cup demonstrate the skill and artistry of the ancient Greek potters who created it, and the cup would have been appreciated for its beauty and craftsmanship as well as its practical use. In conclusion, the black figure Kylix depicting the fight of Hercules with the Nemean lion is an outstanding example of ancient Greek pottery from the archaic period. It is not only a remarkable work of art, but also a valuable artifact that offers insight into the cultural and artistic context of ancient Greece.